Ryerson University is located in the heart of downtown Toronto, and it occupies 58 buildings within a 3x4 city block radius. It stands at the intersection of Yonge Street, the longest street in the world, and Dundas Square, which you can kind of think of as a smaller version of Times Square in New York. Our campus is walking distance to just about any possible thing that could pique your interest, from shopping to restaurants to museums and galleries and sports venues, and literally any other special interest activity you can think of. You're guaranteed to meet people from all corners of the world, and after all, Toronto is the most ethno-racially diverse city in the world. Ryerson has a population of about 100,000 registered students. And from that, it only provides housing for about 1,200, which is less than 1%. That means over 100,000 students commute to school every day, or at least used to, and some come from as far as 1 to 2 hours away daily. But all that traffic suddenly stopped the week of March 16th, when all of the Greater Toronto Area, with a population of 6.2 million, went into lockdown. Thousands of people lost their jobs with no clue as to when we would go back to quote unquote normal. But at Ryerson, the Athletics and Recreation Department was keen to keep its full-time and part-time staff employed while continuing its commitment to excellence, ensuring our community was being provided with programming in a safe and healthy way. Today, you will hear from 5 student leaders from 5 different areas of our recreation department who will share their perspectives on what they experienced as they rose up, in the face of COVID-19. I will now pass it over to Darius, who will share his story.
Thank you, Nagin. As Nagin said, my name is Darius Itagi, and I'm currently in my 3rd year of Economics and Management Science at Ryerson University, and I'm the Staff Training and Development Lead for our fitness center. I want to tell you about how this summer has been one of the most productive summers of my life. Why? Simply because I saw an opportunity and I chose to maximize it. As an international student from Uganda, when COVID-19 hit and closed all our facilities on March 16th, I had 2 options: either go home or stay in Canada. And I chose to stay here. That meant I could either, just chill, relax back, and wait out the pandemic, or adapt. And I chose to adapt. Choosing to adapt meant I could either keep the same job I had worked in fall 2020 or step up into a leadership position. And I chose to step up. And so my productive summer began. Looking back to mid-March, the decision to create opportunities for student leadership positions despite our facilities closing down due to COVID really showcased the department's values when it came to learning through experience and student development. The opportunities over the summer gave me and my fellow coworkers a chance to take on new challenges while adapting to life with the pandemic. To give you some context, here's what we were up against. First, there was the uncertainty. There was a huge possibility that all our work over the summer was for nothing, since our fitness center's reopening date was dependent on the number of COVID-19 cases that we had in our community. Then there was a lack of experience. I had little to no experience formally training or leading student staff. I was going to have to learn fast and execute effectively. Furthermore, we were in uncharted territory. Due to the pandemic, as you can imagine, we were facing a lot of new challenges constantly. Then there was the responsibility. The responsibility increased drastically, all of a sudden. Originally, it was all about developing me. But when the facilities closed and many of my coworkers and many other individuals lost their jobs, it changed everything. Now I was working to ensure that my coworkers came back to a safe workspace. In addition to all these challenges, a lot had to be done on my part to ensure that we were ready to reopen our fitness center. First, we had to recruit and hire new staff. As you can see there, that's our hiring poster, very colorful, hopefully attracts people. We also had to research and find the best practices to create new sets of policies and procedures that satisfied the COVID-19 regulations. As you can see there, we have our social distancing signs, and one of our student staff are completing a cleaning task. I think we look like Ghostbusters over there, you can see that. We also had to identify the student staff facilitators and develop a training for them prior to reopening. In addition to all this, as our department made the great decision to redeploy many of our full-time university employees whose programs were no longer working due to COVID, the responsibility of training them fell on our shoulders because of all the research that we had done, we were actually the best and most knowledgeable when it came to operating our fitness center during the pandemic. Well, as you can see here, we did it. We opened up the gym on August 10th, and I'm proud to say that we were the first university to reopen their fitness center in Ontario, which was very much needed, honestly, because I was gaining some weight and a few of my friends as well. We remained open for 10 weeks with no records of COVID-19 transmission, so we're really proud of that. Looking back now, these challenges that we faced really shaped the person that I've become now, because as the responsibilities grew, so did my capabilities. So what came out of the experience? I got to lead a successful student hiring process that resulted in more international students being hired than our department has ever had, which really meant a lot to me because as an international student, I know how hard it is to find work here in Canada. Furthermore, I created and trained our onboarding team, resulting in greater student empowerment and more student leaderships in positions in our unit. I continue to lead our staff engagement team in organizing multiple fun challenges, virtual checkup meets, and other means of engaging activities throughout the pandemic. Just the other day, we played a photo scavenger hunt. You should have seen those pictures, it was really funny. But probably the most satisfying accomplishment this summer was the training of redeployed full-time staff. Individuals that attended this training included directors, managers, coordinators, coaches, trainers, many more athletics recreation professionals that are true leaders in their fields. A total of about 40 of them attended the training. And you can imagine I was scared. You know, training the executive director of athletics, I was shaking in my pants, but this is how student development is created. Finding opportunities to grow within the challenges that we face. Being entrusted with this big responsibility to train an entire department really motivated me to work harder. I felt that it was up to me to take this leadership position on to a whole nother level. It was really exciting to come to work knowing that the work that you were doing could have a massive impact on your department. This excitement made me fear a lot less. In addition, everything I learned over the summer brought me to a place where fear didn't faze me as much. Looking back now, our execution of this training created a stronger sense of mutual respect between the student staff and the full-time staff in our department. In my unit, we have the unending support of many people who care about us and give us opportunities that not many other students get. As students, we should be given access to resources as our managers remove obstacles out of our way. As you will see from this presentation, student involvement in our department has never been more active, and our department continues to benefit from it. Thank you. I'll now hand it over to Yossi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yosias, but everyone calls me Yossi. I'm a fourth-year business management student, and I've been working at the recreation department for about 2 years. I started as a drop-in recreation supervisor and then moved into my new role as the drop-in recreation program strategist. Drop-in recreation is dedicated time for students to play the sports they love. Students come and go as they please between their classes. Funny enough, I actually never applied to work in recreation. I spent the majority of my life in the gym, so I was pretty familiar with them. My now supervisor actually approached me because they were looking for students who knew what was going on in the gyms, and apparently it looked like I did. And now I believe I have the best job on campus. When I first got hired, I thought creating new programming was going to be easy, but I was wrong. I couldn't just make the changes that I wanted to see, but rather I had to find out what the majority of students wanted to see in our spaces. So from the data we collected, we made some immediate changes. In the first photo, you'll see that we launched a full court square kept basketball program that gave students a more structured format of play with rotation so that there was no more hogging of courts, which I was kind of guilty of in the past. This small addition just changed completely the environment in our gyms. A lot of the participants became friends on and off the courts. The students that used to hog the courts really actually started encouraging others to play and get active. There was a huge shift in culture for the better. We also learned that women's participation was minimal. Therefore, we added dedicated time for women's only programming in our main court and promoted it on social media, like you can see on the right. And I would actually go to the women's only basketball at the start to facilitate games, but later hired female student staff to take over facilitation. And we saw a major jump in attendance over last winter semester. I learned so much over the year and was making and working on huge plans for the program and even better plans for the 2020-2021 school year. But we all know what happened. COVID hit. The pandemic brought all of us to a pause and we were all stripped of our social norms. We had no place to play our sports. Gyms were closed, courts closed. Here in Toronto, we even lost outdoor sports. So like most people, I wasn't really doing much and I felt really unproductive, which I completely hated. Although I stopped working, my brain and I didn't. I was determined to continue planning for our department and creating new programs. Luckily, my supervisor reached out to me and the other students on our team and offered opportunities for remote work. With absolutely no hesitation, I jumped on board. But what to do? You just heard that Darius and his team were working on plans to reopen the fitness center. Our team was tasked to brainstorm and create COVID-safe student programming. We knew that Ryerson was a commuter school and it was advised for people to stay in their neighborhoods and not travel. Students were staying in their bedrooms all day, got like very little exercise. We knew many students were struggling to focus on their courses and they were looking at their computers all day. I personally found it difficult to stay focused and lost motivation to study, which was already hanging by a thread before COVID. But what I did know was that I could impact and make a huge impact through my job. I was a community builder. I have the ability to motivate people and get them excited and bring people together to have fun. I also know that movement and physical activity drastically improves cognitive function and leads to improved academic success and well-being. So then the question became, how can we get people together and active while following the COVID safety guidelines? So Neighborhood Movement Meetups was born. Neighborhood Movement Meetups was created to give students the ability to connect with our community while getting active and moving. We identified parks across Toronto and beyond and have student staff facilitators lead physically distant activities, which you'll just see in this video.
COVID-19 has created restrictions on hosting programming at Ryerson, so we've come up with a new program that comes to you. Welcome to our Neighborhood Movement Meetups. Find us in your neighborhood where you can join us in outdoor physically distanced activities. At these meetups, you choose the activity, such as stretching, walking, jogging, yoga or bodyweight training, hill climbing, biking, walking your dog. Neighborhood Movement Meetups are currently in 7 different locations across the GTA and beyond. For full details, follow our Instagram, RU Recreation, and click on the link in our bio. We hope to see you there.
So our goal was to reignite the social lives of our students while keeping them active and giving them a reason to take a break and refocus on their school. And we're accomplishing that goal. During our data collection last year, we actually found that some Ryerson students did not attend our on-campus programming, even prior to COVID, because of long travel times to and from school. Some students commuted up to 2 hours to get to Ryerson each day. Although Neighborhood Movement Meetups was born out of the need to stay in our neighborhoods during COVID, the program addresses an issue that already existed at Ryerson. We know that, we now plan to continue the program beyond COVID times so that we can bring a sense of community and school pride to our commuter students. Now, next slide. Neighborhood Movement Meetups address the movement and social aspects of our lives. However, I personally love a good workout, and I really miss being able to work out with my friends, and it was a huge part of my weekly routine. To address this, we created a Zoom circuit workout with 3 different difficulty levels, and the setup of our circuit is a bit different than your general workout circuit. In our workouts, we focus on socializing and connecting. To do this, we have 3-minute breaks between sets to allow people time to talk. The best part is people stay and chat long after we finish our workouts, and it just shows that our program is really meeting the social needs of our students. The workout circuit has really become an outlet for many students, and we are very proud of it. I was focused on getting the community back together in person. Now I'm going to pass it over to Ralph, who was crucial in the promotion of these programs.
So as Yossi mentioned, I played a role in promoting these programs. I've become somewhat of a video editor and content creator of sorts. But before I was that, I had a whole different story. So let me begin my story by introducing myself. So hello everyone, I'm Ralph Rebello. I'm a third year business management student at Ryerson. I'm also the events and operations specialist for Ryerson Recreation. Now I've been in my role for about 2 years, Yossi and I were hired at the same time, in which I supervise large community and student events in addition to leading our team training and bonding. Now that was before COVID hit. Once COVID had hit, these events were no longer possible. All the other programs we had held were also canceled too. So due to this, our amazing student staff, which you're seeing here in this picture, could no longer come into work. As the quarantine and lockdown in Toronto went on much longer than we thought, we all began to leave the city. So I was one of those members who also left. I left my downtown apartment, my community, my friends back in the heart of Toronto and moved home to the countryside. Back home to Woodstock. Wait, no, that's the fun Woodstock. This is the wrong picture. Where is it? Can you? There it is. This is the Woodstock I'm talking about. Dairy farm capital of southern Canada. A beautiful town filled, with really not much, to be fair with you. So yeah, there I was, back home now, sitting in my parents' basement, just thinking about what had just happened. Now, I was hours away from my school and community, and I was isolated with no clue what to do, Frank. So I was still glad that Ryerson was providing opportunities for student positions during this time, but I knew I had to reinvent myself if I wanted to keep my job. Now, this was the last picture I took of my team on my 20th birthday in March, right before COVID hit, because after that, our team had now been cut down to 4 working remotely. So sitting with them back in my basement, virtually together, we had to think of innovative ideas. Innovative ideas of rising above, this COVID barrier, trying to tackle the barrier of how do we bring people together, especially in a time where it draws us apart. So just like Yossi had mentioned, we had created the Neighborhood Movement Meetups program that brought people together. But this wasn't just about the programming alone now for me. For Yossi, who was focused on how he brought people together, I was focused on how do we reach these people? It was about sending the right message. A message of community, togetherness, especially in a time where it's most paramount of all. So let's take a look at some of these messages.
Hey everyone, guess what?
Ryerson Movement Meetups is back.
And we're coming to a neighborhood near you.
This is a great chance to stay physically active and to connect with other Ryerson members in your community.
If you want, you can come out, run, walk.
You can bring a dog, a bike,
Or even just hang out with us as we follow COVID-19 health and safety guidelines.
So let's take a break from all of the studying and just go out and stay active together. By taking a break and going outside, it'll help improve your circulation, your sleep, relax the muscles and the tension in the body. When your body feels better, so will too your mind.
This is a program for students and by students.
For more info, go check out the website, Ryerson Recreation. You can find dates, times, etc., all the information needed. Also, go take a look at the Instagram page at RU Recreation. Come out as the times get colder. Let's get active.
I hope to see you there.
See you there. See you there.
I really, really hope to see you there.
Hey everyone, this is Sarah Fauzi. I'm my second year for business management. I'm here for the neighborhood meetup, which is at Bayview Village Park, located in 2945 Bayview Avenue, on Sundays at 12 p.m. See you there.
Hi, my name is Yvonne. I'm in my 4th year of the Business Technology Management program. I'll be hosting my first neighborhood meetup this Sunday at 11 a.m. behind the Silverthorne Collegiate Institute. We're now at 8 locations, so click the link in our bio for more details. If you live in Etobicoke, come join us. I'll be giving away free shakers and protein powder. See you then.
So we had also made videos about the Zoom circuit that Yossi had mentioned earlier, so let's take a look at that too.
Hey everyone, my name is Yossi and I'm a 4th year business management student here at Ryerson.
My name is Adriana Kiflo. I am a 3rd year nursing student at Ryerson.
My name's Ralph. I'm a 3rd year business management student.
And we're the hosts for your Zoom workout circuits. I gotta get pumped up! Oh my goodness. Alright, 18, 19, 20, push! I have a windshield wipers. You ready guys? Let's go. 1, jump. When you come down, go down slowly. 1 more. Alright, perfect. The main objective of our Zoom circuit is for students to stay home and get moving with other Ryerson students and community members.
So come out and join us, get active, re-energize, reconnect, and potentially even meet some new people.
It's a fun and loose workout circuit hosted by students for students, where you get to choose the difficulty. So drop into our sessions every Thursday at 6 p.m. We hope to see you there.
Hope to see you there.
We hope to see you there.
Life. We had to bring life to the programs we built, or else no one would come. A bit dramatic there. But even though these are just short videos, it was videos that were by students for students. This became our new platform to connect people. My job now was to create each one of the videos you had just watched, and others more like it. These videos, like I said, wasn't just about promoting a new program anymore. It was about sharing a story that we're all apart right now, but we can be brought back together. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I've never had any formal training or learning in the art of video editing. I had learned how to do this very quickly back in August, and ran into all the challenges head on. Before this, my job was always about the operations, the X's and the O's, and now it was all about creativity. But these newfound skills, these new platforms, gave me a new sense of belonging, a profound sense of belonging. For me, it was knowing that my work was able to reach out and engage other students, but also the fact that the work itself had connected me with others. From writing a script, sending it out for filming, bringing it all together, we had built a community both with the work and within the work. So as these programs continue off into the future, is that it was students like myself and the rest of our team who found ways to rise above our challenges, seek growth and development, and find new ways to bring together our community. In fact, following me is Yvonne, a student staff who persevered to breathe life into a program which relied on student community, intramurals.
Hi everyone, my name is Giovanna. I'm the senior program lead for intramurals. I'm in my 4th year in business technology management at Ryerson. Prior to COVID, the intramural program was running games every night throughout the week, and participants were looking forward to an event we were planning for months, the March Madness volleyball tournament. We had a lot of exciting programs and events that we were all looking forward to. Also, while we were trying to operate a program, we were simultaneously trying to change it. We were working and still currently working on refreshing our program to better serve participants. But then COVID hit. In-person programming stopped and all events were canceled. Unfortunately, our team of 20 narrowed down to 3: the student administrative staff, the intramural coordinator, and myself. We shifted our attention to improving and refreshing our program. We took a step back and evaluated what we had done so far, looking back at statistics, how we structured our leagues, what information was available to people throughout our website, and how to offer a program virtually when it has been traditionally participated in person. Although we had a limited number of staff, and while trying to adapt to COVID in our personal lives, we had the advantage of having time on our hands. We were able to utilize the time we had and connect to various groups on campus to get their input on our program. Further, we were able to thoroughly review and analyze all the stats and information of our program from previous years. We started to question, why was our program male dominated? Why were students dropping out of the program after first year? While taking in this information, we continued to restructure our divisions, adding women's, mixed, and open leagues, and moving away from A, B, C to social and competitive divisions. And finally, we removed the fee to participate. With virtual programming, we were questioning what can we offer and how do we offer it? This was new to us, as we've always offered programming that was played in person and programming that involved interacting with people as a team. How do we simulate that while people are participating remotely? We started to offer challenges, walking and running, having trivia nights where people team up to answer questions, adding Among Us, and adding accessible challenges with our rolling challenge where people can track their distance with biking or using mobility aids. But how do people get this information? Students aren't coming to campus. How did they know about the changes that we've made and about the new programs that we're offering? We then strategically planned out how to communicate this through our website and making sure that people have the resources they need in order to be able to participate virtually. There were a lot of changes and uncertainties this year with the intramural program itself and adapting to COVID. Naturally, for me, when problems arise, I try to fix them as fast as possible without taking a step back and really looking at what the issue is and what is causing it. I really took advantage of the time we had because of COVID and was able to strategically plan and execute successfully the changes for our program and ensure that it was still able to run during COVID. Now, Nagin is going to be talking about marketing within the recreation department.
Thank you, Giovanna. So hello again, everyone. My name is Nagin. I'm a third-year journalism student, and I'm one of the social media and marketing coordinators at Ryerson Recreation. Now, before the pandemic, I think it's safe to say most of my colleagues didn't really know who I was because my job mainly consisted of sitting behind a computer in our small basement office and creating content to promote what everyone else was doing. But I would occasionally interact with people when they would reach out to us asking to amplify a specific event like March Madness, which Giovanna just mentioned before me. The poster on screen is actually the last thing I remember working on and promoting before everything shut down. I would also get to meet new people sometimes when I would help represent recreation at different Ryerson events, but those were also unfortunately soon shut down. Now, because I rarely got to work with others, one thing I was looking forward to the most in 2020 was the chance to finally meet everyone and work closely with our staff and build deeper connections while working full-time at our facilities over the summer. I had always heard that it's almost like a summer camp and everyone becomes such close friends, and we've even seen examples of that here today with the bond that my colleagues share. But as you can imagine, that opportunity was also quickly taken away. And to be honest, I had a really hard time accepting it at first. And though I did still have the opportunity to work full-time in the summer, I was just alone in my bedroom. Now in March, when the COVID-19 lockdown began, my job really didn't look much different. I was still sitting behind a computer creating content for our social channels. What did change, however, was the importance of my position. All of a sudden, all of our recreational programming and resources could only be accessed through our social platforms, which I almost ran alone at the time since my coworker had to leave early to start her co-op term. So as opposed to everyone else's experience here today, I really had no downtime after the lockdown. Rather, it kind of felt like overnight we went full force into brainstorming and content creation. And this was when it was really time for me to step up and take on a bigger responsibility than I had before. At the start of the pandemic, I'd been working at Recreation for about maybe 6 or 7 months. And during that time, I was always trying to think of new and innovative ways to keep our content fresh and to build a bigger online community for us. But ultimately, our priority was to create what others wanted from us. So we didn't always have time to work on any passion projects. Though when the lockdown started and all of those events were canceled, this was when it was time for us to really pull out every trick we had up our sleeves. And for a few weeks, our number one priority became to stimulate our followers' minds and to make sure they knew of all the resources that were available to them. Whether that was our virtual group fitness classes, which we launched immediately on Instagram Live, and I believe we were one of the first schools to do so in Canada, or just linking different YouTube videos that people could try out at home. We also made bingo cards and contests and asked our followers to share what they were doing to stay healthy during the quarantine. And you can see some of those examples on your screen right now. One of the passion projects I always wanted to work on during the school year was the launch of our YouTube channel. I really wanted to break down the fourth wall and introduce our followers to our faces. And we were finally able to do that in the early summer. It was really important for me to humanize our brand and to really show people that we are just like them, sitting in our bedrooms and filming ourselves and trying to keep busy. You can now watch one of the first videos we published to our channel.
Hey.
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 We are Ryerson Athletics and Recreation.
We're Ryerson Athletics and Recreation.
We are Ryerson Athletics and Recreation, and we're here to help you move your way to wellness.
You move your way to wellness.
Why?
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 Why? Because regular physical activity can benefit your academic performance,
Your individual well-being,
And it helps you make connections to others in our community.
Join us for group fitness classes,
Intramural sports, drop-in activities,
Clubs, aquatics,
Massage therapy.
and so much more.
As hard as it may seem at first,
Finding ways to dedicate time to your health and active well-being helps you be more creative,
think more clearly,
reduce stress,
Study better.
And maintain positive relationships.
and we are here to guide you every step of the way.
every step of the way.
every step of the way.
And did you know that Athletics and Recreation is one of the largest on-campus employers?
with all of these opportunities to get involved, there's always something for you here.
There's something for you here.
There's something for you here.
You can find us on social media at RU Recreation or visit our website at ryerson.ca/recreation.
we can't wait to see you virtually or in person at our facilities.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Till next time, we are your athletics and recreation team.
And Recreation Team.
Athletics and Recreation Team.
and recreation team.
Athletics and the recreation team.
Now, in the summertime, around June, is when we started getting a bunch of emails about fun and COVID-safe programming that different units were planning to launch. We did Zoom orientation, which you can see on screen. Get Ryerson Ready was a form of our pre-orientation, and then on the far right, we have Your Wellbeing Challenge, which was an event we ran during the actual week of orientation. And I finally did get a chance to work with more of our recreation staff who were also working full-time over summer, but it just looked a little different on Zoom. And I had the luxury of not needing to leave my house to do my job. Since then, our small marketing group of 2 to 3 people has grown into its own department with a group of 7 to 8 staff members working together. We have completely rebranded our channels, and we've launched various COVID-safe programming to keep our community healthy and engaged, such as the Move Everywhere initiative, which is meant to encourage our community to stay moving wherever they are. Under the Move Everywhere umbrella, we have our virtual group fitness classes, which have upgraded from Instagram Live to Zoom sessions. We also have neighborhood movement meetups, which we've already heard us talk about here today. And morning movement videos, which are short videos made by students for students to help encourage each other to really stay healthy and moving during online school. Hello again, Ryerson. Happy Friday. And what better way to end your week and kick off your weekend than with some deep stretching? I'm going to show you a few of my favorite moves, and then you can try them out for yourself. One stretch that I learned from one of our group fitness classes, Stretch and Flex, which you can now virtually attend on Zoom, is to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, bring your arm gently to your side, pushing down towards the ground with your palm, and with your other arm, just gently hold your head in the opposite direction. Repeat this on either side for a few seconds, and it'll really help you stretch out your neck and your arms. I'll see you again next week, and until then, stay safe. Sorry about that. Our most recent initiative is movement breaks. Now, this is meant to really make it really easy for students to take breaks at home. People can visit our website or the link in our bio and choose between a 3-minute, a 6-minute, or an over 6-minute exercise. They can also choose the type of workout they want, whether they want to do an unwinding activity or they want to do something to get their blood pumping and become more energized. All they have to do is follow the steps they're given. Since the start of the pandemic, our online following alone has doubled in numbers. And that's only a small percentage compared to the thousands of members who came to our facilities once we reopened for the first time in August. We are currently sitting at the highest our online presence and engagement has ever been, and it would not have been possible without the creative and innovative programming put forth by our student staff. I will now send it back to Darius, who will explain the RAR initiative he introduced to recreation.
Thank you again, Negin. Hello, it's me again. This time I want to share with you an initiative that I started. It's called RAR, I like to think of it as like a roar telling everybody to wake up and do something. RAR stands for Raising Awareness in Ryerson Recreation. It's a platform for students to learn and share their views on current events in the context of equity, diversity, inclusion, and social justice. I might have mentioned this earlier, but I'm actually an international student, and I came to Canada when I was just 14 years old. So as an international student, it was really hard to see what was going on at home and not be able to do anything about it. You know, unfortunately, even currently right now in Uganda, as police brutality that's been ordered by the government on opposition supporters continues, it's really hard to accept and just terrible to see. I mean, I would look at the social media day after day, seeing my fellow youth protesting and fighting for their future. And while I'm here in Canada, not being able to do or help because I'm thousands of miles away. It was really hard to accept. You know, I would find myself comparing the life that I have here in Canada to what life would be like back home. And I always felt this sense of helplessness for not playing my part. I felt as if I was in a safety bubble, being an international student, where I could choose to ignore everything that was going on. But honestly, that didn't sit right with me. So I did something about it. So a little context, I have 3 roommates actually, they're all international students. And I remember during the summer, almost every Saturday morning, we'd all come out and someone would strike up a conversation about everything that's going on. And these are like passionate guys, you know, always talking about current events, what is happening back home, what the government is doing about it, and most importantly, what we would do if we could change, if we had that power to change things, what we would do. And I remember I always felt that how I felt after these talks. I felt a sense of relief. I felt heard. I felt motivated to want to do something about all the stuff that we talked about. And I wanted to share this feeling with other people. So that reminder from my roommates that I was not alone in this search for wanting to help people gave me the courage to draft up the proposal for this initiative. Despite my enthusiasm, I was having problems finding a platform to kickstart the initiative. So I asked myself, as I regularly do, what opportunities aren't I taking advantage of? And then it hit me. I actually work in athletics and a recreation facility at Ryerson University, in one of the most diverse cities in the world. So why not start there? And so RAR was born. The goal of RAR is to have virtual meetings every few weeks where we can raise awareness on current events that are affecting our community. We educate ourselves on the foundation of these issues. We provide a platform where students can share their views and experiences. We find ways that we as a team can help those that are in need. We also act as a support system for each other because we know many people are going through things and they need that support. We also socialize, you know, get to know each other. Many of us are coworkers, so when we come in, we might not know about each other, but through this platform, we've been able to get to know each other a lot better. And while doing all this in a student-led environment, having that student-led part was really important for me when I was starting this initiative because I wanted to give the student staff that sense of belonging and investment in what we were doing here. As a result of all our efforts with RAR, we can better listen, emphasize, and support our patrons as student staff ensure that our spaces are free from behaviors that make people feel less than they are. Over there, you can see our first Zoom meet that we had, I think 2 weeks ago, where we discussed racial injustices that are being faced by BIPOC individuals. It was a really great time and great to see my coworkers speaking their experiences and sharing their views. You know, looking back to when the Black Lives Matter movement was in full swing, I think that was around September, August as well, and Yossi and I were introducing the idea to our coworkers, we noticed something really interesting. We didn't factor in the fact that many of our coworkers may not have had any experience with such struggles. You know, as 2 young Black men growing up in a world of systematic racism, it was easy to understand why RAR was necessary, why my fellow coworkers needed to be heard, why we needed to be educated on these matters, and why we needed to discuss ways to help those that are less fortunate than us. You know, just last summer, when I went back home, I saw an 11-year-old on the street and he was selling, I think, $1 worth of gum packets and he'd been in the sun for hours. You know, when you see something like that, it really puts the world into perspective. It puts things into perspective. Whether you may feel like it or not, as students in such an advanced institute all over the world, we are privileged. Unfortunately, many individuals can't say the same. But it's up to us to learn what is right and to empower those individuals that need it most. As privileged individuals, we do have a voice, either collectively or individually, we do have a voice. So let me ask you this. What are you doing with your voice? And what will you do with your voice? Thank you.
Thank you, Darius, and thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. I would now like to open the floor to any of your questions.
Don't be shy, everyone.
I just have a quick question. I guess it could be for anyone, any one of the presenters. I know earlier you talked about the variety of your offerings, which was a major factor in terms of engagement in your online activities and stuff like that. But what do you think the biggest factor was? Was it the variety? Was it consistency of your marketing? Was it the marketing strategies you used in terms of the videos and creativity and that sort? Just what do you think the biggest factor to increase engagement was?
Maybe I'll go ahead, and then if anyone wants to follow up, please do. With my experience, the content that we promote that is the most community related tends to do the best. And so anything that involves students and involves our members and really makes people feel like they have somewhere to go to just meet each other and feel safe in the community, those always tend to do better. And I think that reflects our programming, that affects everything that we've pushed this year and for the past many years, I'm assuming, is community focused and inclusivity focused. And that is always what draws people to us, in my opinion. Please, anyone else, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to add on. So for example, Yossi and myself, we worked in our drop-in unit as well. So we had a very good sense of the heartbeat of our community, right? So when we started moving into quarantine and lockdown, even though people were isolated, we still had very strong connections with our actual student base. So we started programs that actually reached out to them. It catered to their needs. They wanted to meet people. They wanted to get moving again. They wanted to work out, but they couldn't because those facilities are now closed. So how are we going to do that? We started these new programs, right? So Negin actually worked on our marketing end. So, all of this content, she worked on it as well with me, and we had to run it through. And then that's how we created that whole story of creating the program first by students, by their needs for them. And then we go through the whole chain of all student development and all student work.
Also, just to add in about the idea of persistence, none of us ever even thought about stopping and trying to make all of these programs work. So I think persistence is one of the biggest factors into why all of this actually worked out.
Awesome, thank you.
I guess we'll call last chance for questions here. If anyone has any last comments.
In terms of student engagement, just because I know with Centennial, I'm from Centennial. So with Centennial, when we try to do a lot of virtual programming, there's a lot of lack in engagement because students either don't know about it or they're just not fully able to do the timings. What's a good way to kind of, maximize the student engagement as much as possible with the virtual programming?
So I think Yossi can speak on this part. So when we started a lot of our virtual, there's two sides. First, I think Negin can touch on some of our virtual fitness classes, which have done quite well. But on our end, for some of the stuff like our Zoom circuit or our neighborhood movement meetups, we actually struggled in the beginning because COVID, people want to stay apart, people just kind of want to stay in. So it was very difficult to get people to come out to these neighborhood meetups or to come online to do a workout, right? So the way we approached is why not go directly to consumer, directly to the students? So in all of our student groups, we reached out to the people and be like, hey, we're doing this. Why don't you come out? We went directly to those groups. Another thing is we had a lot of ties within recreation, so we would go to our own staff and promote to them and be like, hey, listen, it's a tough time. Why don't you come out to this as well? And then from there, it's word of mouth. It's the strength of word of mouth, and then we build that whole network through our student programming.
Okay.
Also, I think Nagim can add on to this too, but in terms of like the Students by Students initiative and how we were doing like so many Instagram takeovers and just showing that we were the faces of what was going on and it wasn't like run by some higher powers and it was all for us, I think that also helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of just an online presence, I think making it just very accessible and easy for people to find our resources, always redirecting them to the nearest link and always making sure we provide links and direct drives to our programming so that people don't really have to do any extra work to find what we're providing for them. Just making everything right there and easy to find.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Petter, I'm the Director of Recreation Equity and Active Wellbeing at Ryerson. I just wanted to take a quick moment here as questions are wrapping up to thank our team here. You've represented us so well in your work this fall and since COVID hit and especially today, so thank you. And I also wanted to acknowledge it's my first NERSA, then called CERA conference was in 2003 at a student lead on like this. And it's so wonderful to see all of the student leaders across Canada and the United States sharing and they're learning together. So thank you to my team and thank you to all for sharing so we could take part today. Sorry if I've stolen someone's thunder there, but I wanted to acknowledge y'all.
Thank you,
Andrew.
Thank you.
Any last questions?
Well, if we don't have any more questions, I just want to again thank the speakers for coming out and presenting. You guys had a great presentation, and thanks again for everyone that came to participate. We look forward to seeing you guys throughout the rest of the conference. So thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.